Welcome to day 4 of Daily Gym. Unfortunately, today I have to use artificial lighting as I came home too late since I was out shooting videos and a podcast for the entire day with a client of mine, which is also the thing that I want to talk about today. My client and I both learned a lot of lessons spending one entire day just recording ourselves talking. I've seen the progress and development in myself, or at least the feeling I have towards recording myself every day in just these past few days. The first day it was really uncomfortable, and I've had this idea of doing this for a while now, but I never took that action because there were just so many mental factors playing a role. What is really bringing value to people? Would I really have something to say every day? What would other people think of me, like the judgment as well? And what if you want to quit at some point? The point I took for myself, which is why I've now done it for 4 days in a row, is that if you will never get good at something if you don't train it, if you don't do it. So I thought, let me just start. And coincidentally, it was May 1st, but it could have been April 20th. It could have been May 5th. The day could have been anything. I just thought about, if not today, when will I do it? But I noticed that same struggle with my client this morning. He really was conscious of the value he wanted to bring to whoever is later on gonna listen or watch the video. Of course, we have a target audience in mind that we're targeting. But in the end, since it's out on the internet, everybody and anybody can see it at any time, as long as it's uploaded. So that made my client really conscious of the way he presented himself, his tone of voice. And even though we spent about an hour going through the entire setup, all the hardware, what the format would be like, what the timing would be like, who would say what the topics were of the different episodes we were going to record, he became so overly conscious of his hand gestures, his tone of voice, the way he looked. And I told him we can take care of all of that in post-production. The funny thing was that he wanted to record everything outside because he thought it would be a better scenery. Fortunately, given the current circumstances in the world, we are lucky enough to be in a place in Japan where we can still go outdoors as long as we keep our social distance. So we had that opportunity available to us. But for post-production, it made it a bit more difficult, as we're now dealing with chirping birds, dogs and cats walking around, playing children, the sounds of the waves hitting the rocks because the park is right next to the beach. So the scenery is nice, but the lighting of the sun as well keeps changing. I had to change clothes because I wanted to make it seem different because we're not going to upload all the videos on the same day. But my client didn't have a different shirt, so that's going to be funny when we actually upload it. The key point for me, though, is not the technical things, but something that I really start respecting more and more now for people that have made this their living, whether they're YouTubers, influencers, or anybody else in the multimedia industry, is you don't come across on the screen the way you envision yourself, which makes you think more and more about what you're doing and if it's the right thing or not. This creates a lot of mental hurdles. It really inhibits you of taking that first step and then trying to take that second step. It also starts making you more and more conscious of what other people might think. But as I mentioned earlier, and what I also discussed with my client, what we experience ourselves is that the more you do it, the more comfortable you become. And over time, as long as at least we feel we have the right intentions of doing it for as many people as possible, trying to provide value for other people, we know that we will do our best to make the best quality possible. So as long as we can keep that spirit, we don't see why we wouldn't do this, why we would silence ourselves, hold ourselves back. And that's pretty much what we've gone for. Hopefully, when we actually launch it, the quality is a bit better than what it looked like when we were recording. And hopefully I can improve this quality for all of you as well. The lesson today is a bit longer than usual. I apologize for that. I tried to keep it to 3 minutes. But there were just so many things that I experienced today. That's all for today. I wish everybody a nice day, and I'll be back tomorrow.